Welcome back to Nid Hunters. Tonight, a rash of attacks lead the boys to investigate a local putt-putt course.
Yeah, we're out here at the old pitch and putt off of Jackson and 5th. We're just responding to a call we got about a little girl got her arm bit reaching inside the animatronic hippo on hole 6. You know, people trying to blame it on feral raccoons. But we know what's really going on, so...
What's that? You hear that?
There's one of them slimy sons of bitches right now. What the hell are they eating? That look like... Oh shit, it's the Johnson boy.
Don't make any sudden movements. I'm gonna sneak up on him. Shit, light him up.
Termagant? More like Termagant.
God damn it, Scooter. I told you I'd do the outros. Nid Hunters. These ETs better phone a morgue tonight at 9.
You've set the bar too high, sir.
Welcome everybody to 40K.
God. Yeah. Listen, if I see that shit pop up on Warhammer Plus, they owe us fucking royalties.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
That turned out so much better than I was expecting it to.
Dude, I am like astonished at how much our quality keeps gaining like improvements as we go. People are going to be experiencing this slowly. We've been experiencing it like rapid fire, but I can't wait for all this stuff to like they keep like listening. As long as people keep listening, they're going to be like, these guys are actually like doing really well for just the two of them.
Well, what's crazy is as of this recording, next week's episode that's coming out is the World Eaters episode. And that was the first episode where we did an intro skit.
That's true. Yes, that was my, well, I can say it now. That was the Cornomatic Chocolatastic Energy Bar.
No, it was Karn. It was Karn.
Oh, that's right. It was Karn with, the
Karn with the Girl Scout. Because
that matter. Was... You know what? Because the next one's going to have the Cornomatic, so we're all by the time they hear this episode, they'll be all over it.
If not, check out episodes 8 and 9.
There you go.
It's just
so
like,
you know what we're talking about.
You ever get like a really stupid idea in your head, and then you actually take the time to build it out, and then it turns out
I've done it several times.
Yeah, it's just like I need to build this. I need to get this out of my head.
It's like a little bee in your bonnet, and you just got to do it.
Oh God.
Oh man, that was you're just taking our. I tried really hard with the Belisarius call ad that we did recently, and you're just good. Like you just knocked it out of the park with this one. It's like, oh my God, he's got so much more layered in there. I love it.
I do this for a living, though. I do this
true.
With video, so that's not fair.
I do this because I fucking wing it, and I don't know what I'm doing, and it turns out okay, so I'm happy.
The fact that even you are like attempting sound effects and voice modulation and
with
layering.
Literally no experience, guys. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just fucking playing. Like it's just like why not? I'll try it. And I've been really happy with what we've come up with so far.
Yeah, I think this is episode 10 or 11. So I mean, I'm gonna write this down right now. I'm gonna go on the record. In episode 100, we'll do a comparison.
Yeah, I like it. I hope people stick around long enough to get to 100. We do have 4 followers at this point of this recording. I hope to grow that number. I'm really happy for that. That is it's a feel-good moment to know we have 4 people following us. We've had a lot of hits. We've had a lot of downloads, but we got followers. And that's right here, buddy. I can't see it, but I'm motioning to my heart. It's right here. So on today's episode, we're going to do a little bit of like our own multiverse of madness as we take what we would like to, like if you were to bring in outside universes of the culture of nerddom, like Alien franchise, the Predator franchise. We're gonna take a lot of that stuff. We're gonna slap some rules in there, and we're gonna compare and contrast. We have some different ones that we got up. But before we get into all that fun, Drew, I have a feeling I know what your invulnerable save is going to be, but I'm going to ask anyways. What is your invulnerable save today?
Yeah, my invulnerable save for this week is my Nid Hunters skit that I did.
So fucking fantastic.
That was what did I say? 17 layers and 13 like individual sounds and audio tracks.
Yes, I think that's when you texted me. Like you're like, this is my magnum opus. Or no, you called it your Bohemian Rhapsody. I called it your magnum opus.
Well, as I was building it, I'm like, no, I need wood creaking, and then I need the sound of a clay pot shattering right here, and I need a grenade and a machine gun and layered glass shatters.
Oh man,
I just felt like Freddie Mercury when he's like explaining when they're in the process of recording Bohemian Rhapsody, and he's like, I need you to be higher pitched here, and I need the or what's his name from the Beach Boys when he went crazy doing like what was it, pet sounds, and he was bringing in like goats and tin cans to the studio. So yeah, that's mine. I'm so jacked. I never created anything that like using just audio. I've never spent that much time and got that.
It sounded fantastic.
Thank you.
It really. I like to think that somebody was like starting our episode like, all right, let's see what they got going on today, and they heard that and like, wait, where's the podcast? What am I listening to?
That's the
and
best
at the same
part.
time, there's also that person that's gonna go, all right, why the fuck don't they? I want to see this show.
Yeah, well, like what cracks me up is we'll have some of our followers, like our diehard fans at this point. I guess I'll use the term. Will have already at that point. They'll catch on that that we do a fake intro now for multiple episodes. But yes, I'm super excited about those random people that just jump in and that's where they start. They're like, what the fuck did I click on? Nid Hunters? I thought it was 40K.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So,
oh man,
Shane, back to you. What is your invulnerable save for the week?
So it happened just a few hours ago. Proud dad moment, I guess. For anybody who knows me knows I have a really dark sense of humor, and we were just sitting eating dinner, and we're watching Futurama, and it's the episode where Fry and Leela get superpowers, and Leela says something to the effect of, I always wanted a job where I could use my violence to my advantage. And Caleb, my son, without skipping a beat, says, why don't you be a cop then? And I fucking lost it. I was like, oh shit. Dude. And he's like, what? Why is that so funny? I'm like, if you only knew how dark that is. That's premium dark roast right there, kiddo. I was so happy that I was like, that's a good fucking joke, man. That's a good joke.
Oh, okay. I can just imagine him being like super like smiley and because he's always got a smile on his face too.
Dude, he was. He just kind of smiled and said, why not go be a cop? And my wife's like, why would you say that? And he goes, I just see the TV and stuff. And I was like, this is fucking too perfect. It keeps getting better.
Oh shit.
Oh. So yeah, that was my invulnerable save this week, because that was, whoo, I needed that. I like to know that my dark humor is finally, he's getting to that age where it's starting to, he doesn't realize it yet, but it's there.
That's the best part about it.
Oh man. So, all right. So we've got some cheat sheets. We've got some stuff we've had written down. We've been building this probably past like week and a half since we kind of decided that we wanted to do an episode like this. I don't know where you want to start. I had one in mind that I was going to go super nerdy, because if there's Doctor Who fans out there, I was going to start it up. And we got Daleks. You know, I think Daleks would be a primo enemy force in a 40K universe. Like they're all about death. They're grimdark in their own little weird way. And if you know Doctor Who, they exterminate. I'm not going to try to do it because it strains my voice. But they basically they can't be destroyed. They're like super armored, and they bang, you're dead. Bang, you're dead. So for my first one, I'm going to come out with is I had Daleks. I call it Exterminate. It's a stratagem, and this one's a heavy stratagem. It's going to cost you 3 command points, but during that shooting phase, you use the stratagem, roll a d3, select that many units. For the rest of that shooting phase, they both hit and wound on a 2+. It's unmodifiable. I think that fits with the lore. It's devastating and it's expensive. So it's it's not the way they've reduced the amount of command points you get in games now with the latest Crusade mission or whatever it is, the fucking specialized book or whatever. I can't remember what it's called right now. Chapter approved. That's it. Bam. Back on topic. So I think that definitely blends well with the setting, and I think that's a good rule.
So I am not a Doctor Who watcher. I respect Doctor Who. I want to get into it. It's just intimidating at this point. It's kind of like if somebody if somebody hasn't watched anything Marvel at this point, that's kind of how I feel. It's like trying to get into it. It's been when did it first start airing?
Doctor Who. I mean, okay, so originally back in like 50s or 60s, and then it stopped in the 80s, and then it re-picked back up in the 2000s.
Yeah, it was
you
like
can
what,
start in the
2008 or something like that.
You can start in the new rebooted era, and you'll be fine. It doesn't take long to pick up where you're going. But
yeah. I bring that up because as soon as you said, you said Dalek?
Yeah, Dalek.
So I googled Dalek, and there's a series of aliases that it has for them, and one of them is Great Space Dustbins. Does that mean anything to you?
I think it's just a joke within the community. I don't think it's that. I've never heard him referred to that in the show that I can think of.
Big useless pepper pot, and I like it.
Yeah, no, those are definitely accurate. I'd give him that.
So these look like, okay, if I had to describe one of these to somebody who has never seen one, imagine like the first Roomba ever invented, with like an R2-D2 body welded to the top of it, and then it's got like a plunger for an arm.
So that plunger, just so you know, that plunger can like attach to people and like absorb them, and then also like gain their memories, and like so very Space Marine-esque.
I was just gonna say, so it can eat people's hopes and dreams like a Space Marine.
Yes, yeah, like, and then that they got like a little laser gun on them too that like it shoots and it's instant death. Whatever it hits, it kills them outright.
Okay.
And when you see it on the TV show, they flash, you see their skeleton, and then they just drop dead, and that's it.
So it would have a weapon that's just removed from play then.
And their whole thing is the Daleks they think they're the perfect race, and all other races have to be exterminated. So what better setting than 40K?
So I guess real quick, I have questions. We're on the Doctor Who podcast now. Are they machines or
they are a bastardized version of humanity, essentially. Like they had been biologically engineered to be the perfect specimen. They were devoid of emotions. They were devoid of feeling anything. They had one sole purpose, and that was essentially to exterminate all other races because they were inferior to the Daleks. But if you look back, they are humanoid in their origins, but they've just become so bastardized over time.
They're like little squid. They look like Krang.
They're like Krang. Exactly. 100%. In fact, I almost am positive that's where Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came up with the idea of the Krang.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I'm just thinking.
You're down the rabbit hole now.
Yes. Okay, so they have to have a rule that's like gooey center.
Oh yeah, because if you crack them open, they are vulnerable as shit.
Yes, and do something where like they take like D3 or D6 mortal wounds if you penetrate their armor. Yeah, if you hit them with like a weapon that reduces their armor save to 0, then like they take an automatic like D3 mortal wounds or something like that.
Dude, that'd be perfect.
This soft, squishy squid brain body doesn't look like it could handle much of anything.
No, yeah, no.
you could strangle one of these guys with like a cotton ball.
Poke him in the eye.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Oh. So anyway, all right, back to 40K. See, that's the multiverse. We're just traversing it all.
Yeah, it's like oh god, I'm looking at a GIF of one right now moving, and I hate it. Yeah, it's like Super Smash Brothers, but 40K edition.
You're right. There you go.
So
Everybody fights everybody.
do you have any other Dalek related?
I
rules?
know every Dalek ones. I just kind of left it at that. I thought because outside of that, they're pretty standard. You know, alien bad guys. They shoot, they kill, they exterminate. That it's nothing special about them. But I like the idea of them having stratagems that are unique to them. That gives them a little bit more of a flair, a feel to them.
Yeah. How about this? So if you have a Dalek in your army, your opponent gets
A doctor.
basically, yes, it would almost act as like a nemesis, like in Grey Knight's Crusade rules. And the doctor would have a special rule where if they're killed, then they come back as a random model.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Yeah, because the regeneration cycle.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
the
Dalek can never target the doctor because for whatever reason in the show, the Dalek. I mean, they establish a very long line of why the Daleks are afraid of the doctor, but for whatever reason, they never just shoot the guy. Like they have ample opportunity multiple times in multiple episodes, and he constantly just bullshits his way through it. And the Daleks, because they're fucking dumb and have no feelings and have no real logic to them other than kill, they always buy into whatever bullshit he's peddling and don't just shoot him.
So they don't have the emotion, but they're not like super smart and calculating either.
It doesn't, not when it comes to him. Everything else, they're super calculating and devious, but then it comes to him and they just like completely, everything about them goes out the window and they're just like, you're the one known as the doctor. And then they freak the fuck out and they don't know what to do. He has literally stood on motherships surrounded by millions of Daleks and they don't just all go, zap. They all go, what does he want? And they like want to reason with him. And it's like, why? He's one guy, just shoot. Like I have a feeling there's one Dalek just going, guys, we could just shoot him. Problem solved.
You just don't get it, do you? Maybe I don't know. They probably just think he's cool and they want to
again,
him.
There's multiple reasons that come up in the show. I'm simplifying it, but
I like this.
I know that there's some Doctor Who fan right now listening going, fucker, they tell you exactly why.
I just like the idea of them like having a little bit of like a schoolyard crush on the Doctor. That's my fan fiction.
There you go. They secretly love him because he's the perfect specimen of eradicating races.
Yeah. So I did. Well, we'll just keep going with aliens. I did the Predator. I thought that would be an obvious choice. I'm sure everybody, other people have thought about this. I'm sure you could look up 40K Predator kit bash and you'll see a billion of them. But obviously, we'll just get this right out of the way. Preferred enemy, Catachan. You got to do it.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. Catachan look like the guys fucking the Predator hunts in the first movie.
Yep. You got to give the stealth field. I mean, obviously, very chameleonic, like the Death Leaper.
I was just gonna say Death Leaper would probably have a lot of borrowed rules or modified rules in the Predator's catalog.
I would give it a rule for if you are on a battlefield, like it prefers warmer climate. Except for Alien versus Predator, the movie. I don't count that as ever.
Yeah,
actually
we don't talk
happening,
about that one
because that took place in what was it, Antarctica, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was like at a South Antarctic base or some shit.
Yeah, and it's like you have Predator 1 takes place in the really hot, humid jungle. Predator 2 takes place in Los Angeles during like a record heat wave. The Predator, besides his armor, he's pretty much naked. He's wearing like a mesh body like suit. He likes it warm. So if you are playing in I would say give him some kind of like negative to his move or something like that. Like give him some negatives if you are playing in a like a cold environment. I would go very thematic with it. And then those are kind of like my get him out of the way. His med kit, I feel like it heals. He'd have a rule where he could heal himself, but do it in a way where you roll a d6. Like you can try to use your med kit any turn you want, but on a 1, you actually cause yourself a mortal wound, because every Predator movie, there's always a scene where it's injured and then it tries to heal itself, and the medicine that they have, for them having mastered like interstellar flight, boy oh boy are they a couple of like
light years behind everybody on fucking medical health.
It's just like, I'm gonna take this needle and I'm gonna jam it in the open wound without kind of putting any local anesthetic on it. Which I get it, that could be part of like the trophy hunt. That Predator could just
you gotta pay that pain to get your trophy.
He could just be like a rich asshole Predator alien, and we don't know. Maybe Earth is part of like a interdimensional or galactic like nature preserve, and they're like, oh no, the humans are primitive, we must protect them. And then this super rich Predator pays, he's like a hedge fund child, and he pays $1 billion, and I'm gonna go bag me some humans. So like part of it is he wants to get in the mindset of like being the primal hunter or something like that. Because man, the second Predator, he like breaks porcelain tile off of a wall and then melts it with some kind of goo and then just spreads that over his wound. And I'm like, is that really the best thing you have for it? Is it porcelain? How did you know?
Right. How did that like? Or did he just like? Would it not have mattered what it was? He was gonna melt. Like he could have just used another person. Like I killed this guy, I'm gonna melt him down and just paste him over me. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like whatever was just readily available was gonna get melted and pasted onto his skin.
Maybe.
I feel like he also needs to have like an Eversur assassin like rule where he dies and then kablooey.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes. It would be similar to when a knight explodes and they do when like the reactor goes nuclear.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. The self-destruct. One of the rules I have in here is get to the chopper. You got to do it. And
it has to be in there.
Yes, the way that would work is the enemy gets to select one of their HQs, and then you get to place an HQ or a marker on your half of like the deployment zone. And then what happens is they get like D3 victory points if they're able to get their HQ to that. It'd basically be like an extraction point. If they're able to end the game with their HQ within 6 inches of the extraction point, then they get like D3 victory points. I think that'd be really thematic.
Yes, I'd like that a lot. I like that one a lot. I like the idea of like, I like anything that has those added like bonus style objective just for being that, just for having that character in play. Like it adds this extra. Yeah, it's just a bonus objective that you can get, and it's worth this many victory points.
Like in the new Chaos book. That's how they handle Iron Warriors. They have a special objective that they get just for playing your army as Iron Warriors. You get to set up, I think it's 3 objective markers on the battlefield. And if you have a unit that ends its turn on one of those objectives, you can have them take an action of, it's called like total destruction or something like that. And basically what it is those are key weaknesses that you're trying to exploit in your enemy's defenses. And so like while the battle is going on, like as an Iron Warriors player, you're also trying to demolish, like set explosives and demolish these different markers. And for your enemy, they normally like, I don't fucking care, but it might change the way that they have to handle it, because they're like, fuck, like I'm just going to be, if I don't touch those and I don't do anything, all I'm going to be doing is just feeding you points, and I cannot have that happen. So yeah, right. Something like that, because like in the movie Predator, the first one, they're there to fight that other, like that.
Yeah, they're there for a totally different reason.
Yeah, and then the Predator just comes in and just starts fucking wrecking house on all of them. And
I ain't got time to bleed.
I like the guy's like, all right. Like, yeah, you're crazy. Fucking Bill Dukes. I'll never not see Bill Dukes without that fucking razor blade just shaving in the jungle.
Oh, dude, it's so unnerving.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
That was like the fucking pure 80s right there, man. That's what made that movie so great. That is just like fucking 80s personified was the Predator movie. This is all that fucking goddamn machismo. Fucking crazy.
Oh,
shit. Okay,
You
so all right.
goddamn sexual tyrannosaur like me.
I was actually just watching like a little clip the other day about like fucking Arnold fucking with Jesse Ventura and making him think that Jesse Ventura had bigger arms than Arnold, and then he challenged Arnold to like a flex, like some sort of flex off to see who had the bigger arms. Of course, Arnold had bigger arms. Arnold like set all this shit up to make him think that he was bigger and he wasn't.
That's
I'm like,
hilarious.
dude, that's a lot of like, that's too much testosterone, man. I could just see those two like actually like fucking murdering each other just because they were like, all fucking roided out.
Did you know that? So that was, I think, written and partially directed, or it was just written by Shane Black was his name. He was the one of the soldiers. He's the guy with glasses.
He's the fucking nerdy fucking radio operator. Yeah.
I told my wife I wanted a little pussy. She told me her too. Hers is as big as a house. Yeah, that's him.
I can't remember, and I won't say it, but I think there's some things that have come out about him about maybe sexual harassment claims. I'm not 100% sure, but
oh no.
Oh yeah,
I know that's
sad. I have to double check on that, but
I know that the director of that movie is in jail for perjury.
Maybe it was that who I was thinking of. I can't remember. There was some definitely unpleasantries attached to the people involved with that movie.
But the movie's fun, though.
The movie's fun. Good time. Good romp. So okay, so we'll go, all right, I'm gonna see your Predator. I'm gonna match with a Xenomorph. So let's say and this would be like, I think the Xenomorphs would be like a cool style army. Now everybody's gonna be like, well, it's just Tyranids. Yeah, shut up. So I had an idea for the Xenomorph army to have like a secret objective, and I'd call it the Facehugger Egg Booby Trap. And what it is you pick an objective in secret. Like you know how you number your objectives. So let's say I'm going to pick objective 3. When your enemy takes control of that objective, they immediately suffer D6 mortal wounds. Any models lost in this way, you don't remove them from play. They just simply lay down. Because guess what? They got a fucking Facehugger on them now. Next turn on a 4+, guess what they become? They become a Xenomorph. And they are immediately engaged in combat with that unit. I love the idea of like that happening. Like you don't know, you think you know which objective I'd pick, but you don't know for sure. But you got to go for the objectives. You can't just let them stay open. And I can just imagine like an Imperial Guard unit like hitting that and dropping like 5 dudes right out the gate, like to that. Just bop, dead. Oh no. There's so many, oh my gosh, so many bodies. What are these things on their faces? I like the idea of like Xenomorphs like in the game, like being very melee oriented, but having like short range attacks, like acid spit, maybe a 6-inch shooting attack that they could do. I like the idea of them being able to advance and charge, like being very fast, like a very fast army, because obviously, again, that's what they are. Stealthier, maybe they move around, like, again, like, I'm thinking, like, do Zone Mortalis style games with the Xenomorphs, having them fucking move around in vents and shit.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Have like a rule called, like, Lithe or something like that, that was a rule in the old Doom board game from like 2006, where your Marine could move through vents if you had the Lithe special rule, and I could see that doing just exactly that, or even making it so that they can scale buildings faster.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one too. Dude, Xenomorphs would be an awesome like kill team.
It would be very neat.
or a Necromunda gang. Like that'd be a really fucking cool. They'd be perfect for like small army, small scenario skirmish style games. And again, you could still do the Facehugger Egg, like secret objective, and instead you could just modify it a little bit to where it's just like you roll off and on a 4 up, the dude gets a face hugger on his face.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you have like, and in Necromunda, there's a lot of rules where you like have to like if you get hit or you get shot at in Necromunda, if I shoot at your character, even if I hit the shot but I miss a wound, your guy still has to lay down because he's like hitting the deck. He's like, oh shit, I'm being shot at. So there's rules for like laying down and then getting back up. So I like the idea of like a dude getting a face hugger and like laying down, and then again you'd roll off, and if he rolls high, he becomes, he gets impregnated and
yeah.
Big
I
boy.
had a chest burster rule. I nicknamed it Tummy Trouble. But yeah, like you could do neat stuff with xenomorphs in melee combat, where for every wound that you cause on them, you like that gives them like their acid blood. So every time you take you cause a wound on them, maybe you have to take like an armor save. And if you fail, then you take like maybe it's not a mortal wound, but you take some kind of acid attack, just to represent like you don't really want to get into the meat grinder with these things, because even if you cut one with a chainsaw, you're cutting one with a chainsaw. That blood is spraying everywhere.
Right. It's going to get a bit messy.
And then they have like that little tiny mouth that can puncture through pretty much anything. At least with the Colonial Marines in those movies, it just punctures right through their fucking helmets.
I mean, to be fair, the Colonial Marines are just about as fucking armored as, well, the Astra Militarum.
Welcome to the Marines, where you get armor that gives you minimum protection.
I didn't even think about that. I just thought about this now, man. Fuck, how did we miss Starship Troopers? Did you have anything for Starship Troopers? That'd be a fucking great universe to bring into this.
Oh, God.
I mean, there's so much there. That is basically 40K. Like,
yeah, that's
satire all included.
Oh, absolutely.
Love the fact that people don't realize that movie's satire. Like, that's
yes,
one of my favorite aspects about it.
Johnny Rico and the humans are the bad guys in that movie.
Did you know that? Are we the baddies?
Congratulations, Johnny! You've become a horrible, brainwashed servant of a conformist military state.
Congratulations! You're a champion of fascism.
I remember I used to have I had a Starship Troopers action figure of Johnny Rico. I got it from KB Toys. I also had.
It doesn't age well, does it?
To stick with like Paul Verhoeven, I also had RoboCop toys as a kid, and I look back now and I'm like, man, they did not know how to handle those at all.
No, dude, those are not movies that need to be placated to children for toys.
I loved it. The RoboCop though, he had this like little. You could put little like the pop cap guns. You could put the little pops. His gun, you had a little crank on his back, and what it would do is it would cause sparks to come out of his little gun. I loved it. He used to arrest and get into shootouts with Splinter, or not Splinter, Shredder.
Oh, what do you got? I did my Xenomorph. What do you got? What's another one you've got here?
Kirby. So obviously he can fly. Weakness though is if he's hit, he's very lightweight. So I kind of went with him. I feel like at this point most people know him. I guess he's been in a lot of games, but like from the Smash Brothers thing, I like the idea of having a character who you're basically trying to just knock them off the board. I like that as a concept, so I played with that. So Kirby can fly, so he can move over all difficult terrain, everything. He's just treated like a jetpack unit or a flying. Well, he'd be treated like a flying unit, I guess. But his inhale move would be handled with a flame template.
Oh,
so,
nice. Okay.
Yes. So you would place the flame template, and every enemy model that's caught in the flame template would basically have to take a toughness test to resist the air intake that is Kirby's massive maw.
Although I will say this, it is times like this that I miss initiative, like having initiative checks, because that would be that if they still had initiative. I mean, I know that's old school, but
so is a flame template.
Right? Yeah. But I mean, if they had to take an initiative check, because I think like your reaction would be what would save you, not just like your grit. But toughness is what we got, so that's what we go with.
Yep. So you have to take a toughness test. If you fail the toughness test, you're removed from play. Kirby is a monster. However, and then what would happen is basically Kirby could then do one of two things. Based on the amount of models he has swallowed, that becomes the strength of his attack. He could then do a ranged attack where he could hurl them out of his mouth.
Jesus.
So he would just roll 2 dice, and that's the distance of the attack. And then in terms of the strength of it, I would just say like the amount of models, or maybe you do the amount of models plus D3.
Yeah.
Because I figure with a flame template, I mean, at most
maybe 5. I mean,
5,
unless they're
yeah.
really badly, like unless somebody really badly stacked their guys up.
But I mean, I don't see Kirby.
But if I knew that
one-shotting
fucker was on the board, I'm not going to stack my guys up like in any way, shape, or form that could like potentially
no.
give you more than 3 or 4.
No, you absolutely are not, because Kirby is an apex predator that will come for you. So he has 2 options. He can either spit the enemies out and do like a single attack, and if you know Kirby from the games, whenever he inhales enemies and spits them out, they just become a giant star, and then they once they hit something, it explodes. So your models are dead at that point. They're gone. They have been converted into pure raw star energy from Kirby. Or Kirby can swallow the models that he inhales, and then you get to basically pick one of those models, and Kirby gets to copy all special rules and abilities and attacks from that enemy.
So if he grabs a character...
Yes.
Oh.
Hey, Kirby just inhaled Justicare Thawne. I wonder what I'm going to do with that. But here's the kicker, though. Kirby, I was thinking, and...
Does Kirby also wake up for every time different and changed and mentally defective?
It would be neat, since Kirby is so like lightweight and small, do it to where maybe he doesn't have any like a wounds value at all. Instead, for every wound that you cause on him, or maybe not even wound, every time you hit him with a weapon, you knock him back one inch. So if you have a group of Marines that unload into Kirby and they hit him 15 times with rapid fire, he moves 15 inches directly backwards from the unit that attacked him.
No mercy!
So you're just trying to shove that little bastard off the board. The Tau rail cannon that can cause, what is it, like 10 wounds in a single hit or something like that, plus mortal wounds. Like, it would make sense if Kirby's flying, and then they target his little ass, and they hit him for 15 wounds. That motherfucker just got rocketed 15 inches backwards, directly away from the tank. And I love this. And then also, just do it to where, if he takes maybe more than, like, 6 wounds, or 8 wounds in a single sitting, just like in the game, it causes him to drop anything that anybody that he's... any ability that he's currently using, or if he has like enemies in his mouth, he drops all that. So that would be another way where you could disarm this little pink bastard, is pop him with something, and even if you're not knocking him off the board, you could knock that power up off of him.
Right? Yeah. I do. Okay, so let me ask you this: can he absorb and then move along, absorb more, or does he have to expel what he's absorbed? How would you do that? Can he just continuously stack? Does he have a limit to how much he can stack?
So I was thinking about that, because in the game, he can only ever have one ability at a single time, except for Kirby 64, which allowed you could get up to 2 different abilities. You could combine them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really being a stickler to Kirby lore, both of those things,
which
the stacking of abilities, or the having to expel to gain a new ability, canonically, both of those are technically accurate. So I thought if you were to, you do it one of 2 ways. Either he copies absolutely all of the stats on that model ability-wise. That's one option. He, minus like the movement rules, and like the wounds rule, Kirby would become Justicare Thawne. Or you do it to where if you get one ability, or you get like one character trait or something like that, and that's all Kirby gets, and that stacks. That would be the other way I would do it, because that would be kind of neat, where in the beginning, it'd be like, yeah, fuck it, I don't even care. He inhaled one of my lieutenants in a squad. But like towards the end, that little bastard just might keep stacking shit, and by the end, you've let him get too strong.
Oh no! He just blanks your Imperial Knight, just like. Pew!
What I was like, I got really excited thinking about this because I'm like, holy shit! Like,
He'd
I
be
can
an
just imagine,
unstoppable monster.
dude, he would be fucking terrifying. The first time that he inhales an entire guard squad, and you're just like,
Oh,
fuck, and then he spits that squad out, and then like does like 5 mortal wounds or something to a sentinel by hurling a giant glob of men at it. It's just, it's a horror show.
it's like a chaos spawn, but it's just like arms and legs and heads of like Imperial Guardsmen blobbed together.
God, kill us, kill me. He's coming back.
You sinned against nature. All right. So, okay. So I went in another direction. I went with I had 2 horror icons. I did Jason Voorhees, and I like the idea of Jason Voorhees. You could even, let's be honest, I could literally do this rule for either Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers. It's the same fucking thing, same person essentially. But I gave him a solemn purpose. Jason's whole thing, or Michael Myers, like I said, this can be interchangeable, but you select an enemy character at the start of the game. For the entirety of the game, that is the only character they can pursue. That is the only character they can attack. That's the only character that they can go for. If Jason/Michael is killed, then you don't, you remove him from the table like you normally would. But he's not gone. On a 3+, he comes back to the table via deep strike rules. So he could just like in the movies where it's like, he was 40 miles away. Oh shit, he's right behind us. Like, how would he do that? Does it make sense? You don't care. So he will always continue to do this, no matter what. Even if he fails to roll every turn until the game is over. The only way he gets removed from play is if he kills his target. That's it. I like it because it's like, it's direct, and he cannot attack it. You could put units in to jam him up, to kill him, to get him out of the way for a little bit. But
well, I feel like he's got to be able to attack other units though.
Well, because he can attack them if they engage him, but he can't deviate off and go, I'm going to attack this unit real quick. He's going straight line for the character,
well, yeah, But if I feel like if anybody's getting in his way, like he will like, I feel like he's got to like assault that unit that's in his way, because Jason and Michael Myers both like they take a meandering path to get to their target.
True.
That body count that racks up.
But I just like the idea of him like trying, like, I guess you could say like he has to make as straight a line as possible towards the enemy character, and if other people are in his way, then he has to engage that. But if you have like a parting of the Red Sea and that enemy character is wide open, Jason, Michael, whichever one you want to do it is, doesn't matter to me, is beelining it straight down that open pipeline. But if a unit cuts him off, well, he's beelining through that unit too. And now I'm closer to the guy. So, like, I like the idea of you also, like, constantly having to move your character around, like, because you don't know where he's going to pop up next. And you're like, fuck, I got to be encircled by my men because I don't need this fucker getting me. So
go on.
I was going to say, I like that idea of, like, using, like, those horror tropes that you see all the fucking time in the movies where it's like, how did he fucking do that? Like, how did he get there? Like, we just saw him 5 minutes ago and he was 300 feet away from that kid. And now he's literally like on top of that kid. Kind of like in the, what's that fucking game? The Friday the 13th game. Where like, he literally has an ability where he can teleport to you, like based on your movement and shit. I think that's a good rule. I think that's a solid rule for him.
Okay. I also had a fun Jason rule, and it would operate, we'll have to figure out how these would both work together. Because are you familiar with Friday the 13th Part 8?
Fucking, which one's that? I mean, I've seen them.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Okay, yep.
So I was going to say your enemy would designate a section of board, maybe another marker, and that would represent Manhattan, and Jason's trying to take it. So while this is all happening, you need to defend. You need to keep Jason away from Manhattan.
Okay, so no, what we'll do is we'll keep your Jason. We'll just make mine purposefully for Michael Myers. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
problem solved.
There's got to be a rule, and I hate to even like mention this, but it's technically canon in the Friday the 13th movie timeline. But the Slug Monster. And are you familiar with the Jason Voorhees Slug Monster?
Dude, it's been a while since I've watched any of them, but I'm sure once you start talking about it, I'll be like, oh yeah, that dumb shit.
Yeah. So Jason 9, which was Jason Goes to Hell, like the first 7 minutes of that. Yeah, you get it now.
I'm with you.
First fucking 7 minutes of that film, Jason just gets blown the fuck by like a bunch of FBI agents. They just blow his ass up. And then go to find out there's a slug monster that lives inside Jason the whole time. And then he just spits that slug monster out and it goes into somebody else. And then that converts them into a new Jason. Why? I don't fucking know. But that's got to be a rule. If you take Jason out,
he just becomes somebody else.
You replace him with the slug monster. And then you control the slug monster, and then that can go and control another model. Kind of like, I see it as like a modified, movable brain leaf frond. Where instead of it being a plant that's wrapping around your spinal cord and making you try to extract chlorophyll from your teammates, it's just you get it there, and then it's like, oh hey, look, this Terminator is now mine, as he slowly becomes a new Jason.
Sorry, still thinking about the fucking brain leaf. Chlorophyll.
Also, Jason has to be very weak to psychers, because in Jason, I think it's 5 or 6, I forget which one, he battles a chick who's got psychic powers, and she kicks his ass. He basically fights Carrie in like 5 or 6. I watch a lot of Friday the 13th films, and weird shit happens as you go on later on. But he's got to be weak to psychers. At least, like, she was like telekinetic, so I don't know if there's a telekinesis power in the 40K universe. Jason can't handle it because he gets his ass just beat up. Also, the ghost of her abusive father appears and I think beats Jason up too. So,
why not?
Because why not? So, I don't know if we can.
After the third one, it was just whatever. We're phoning this shit in.
Jason will do anything for moms, but boy, oh boy, he doesn't do well against dads.
He's one of those nervous kids that goes to pick up the girl at the prom.
Well, I just, sir, I was, my intentions were just to.
I promised to have her home by 11. I will make sure to pull her chair out. Please, I don't want you to be. Stop staring at me. I feel awkward.
I was thinking I just wanted to take her back to my camp and put her in a sleeping bag and then slap her against a tree a couple times, and then I was just gonna go take her to meet the severed head of my dead mother. Also, I was thinking something like, if you try to perform an action within the vicinity of Jason, I was going to call it like the powers out or something like that. If you're trying to perform an action within like a 6-inch or 8-inch range of Jason, that action doesn't happen or something like that. Or you do a roll off, and if Jason beats you, you take a wound as Jason has ambushed you when you're trying to do your action.
I love it. I think that's that all works. I had Freddy Krueger, and what would Freddy Krueger be? Dude's got to be a psyker, right? He fucks.
Yeah, he would have to have something where he can cast like sleep on on a model or something like that.
I got you covered, buddy. I call this In Your Dreams, where it's a malediction, 18-inch range. He selects one enemy character in range. On a 3+, the unit enters a dream state and cannot move, shoot, charge, or fall back. He's stuck. Roll 7 dice individually each. if Freddy wins 4 of the 7 roll-offs, the model is slain outright, no saves of any kind allowed. He basically Johnny Depps him. He fucking blenders him up, and that's game over.
Yeah, that's like your epic dream showdown there.
Exactly. Like, and that's why I did the roll-off, because it's like you're vying for control. You're ducking behind here. You're doing it, and if he wins the roll-offs, blender. But if you win, if the enemy wins that roll-off, he stays in that state until the next turn, but then he kind of like pops out of it. He's fine, But if he keeps casting it on him, I probably should have come up with a value on it. We'll just say 8. Actually, it kills outright, so we'll give it a 9. I think that's a good one.
Karn.
Your sleep tricks work not on me, Sweater Man.
Charges him.
What is that, a 5-finger glove? I will fuck you up.
Here's a child for you.
Meet your child.
Even the artwork for that would be great, because Freddy's all like red and brown and like with that green stripe, red and green stripe. Like even like artwork wise, I could just see it being very red and ugly.
Oh yeah, dude, I'd read that. I'd read that novel.
Dude, that fan fiction, Karn versus Freddy Krueger.
Oh, dude, awesome.
Oh shit!
Oh,
I may have a new intro skit. Yeah, that would be cool with Freddy.
I mean, he could have access to other psychic powers, but that one's uniquely his. I think like that would be like.
Well, yeah, that would be his bread and butter. Do something where you could either do it like I like that way of him having a physical presence, and then that's what he's trying to do, and you could explain it where through the power of the warp, it's caused him to materialize a fictional body or a physical body, because that's kind of what demons are in 40K. They're ethereal beings given physical form through cosmic weird energy. So, I mean, that could be how you could explain him having a physical body. Yeah. The only other way of doing it would be you do something where you have maybe a dream board that's separate off of the main table.
Okay, yeah.
And do something where, as you're playing, maybe models can
accidentally fall into the dream state.
Fall back! It's like a squad-based leadership test. You're both getting models pulled in, and then maybe Freddy is just kind of like going after all of them, and it becomes this smaller firefight thing where, you're trying to evade Freddy in the dream realm, and you can try to wake up your troops. That's like an action that you can do. That would be another cool way of doing it too.
I like that idea. I like the idea of like that separate board and everything. Like,
yeah, do it like both ways. Like maybe he, like when he's on the physical board, he has like that, like you're saying, like that malediction, and he's doing that shit. But then he can also, maybe it's a different thing he could do. Maybe that's what it is, and he can like pull you into his little like dream pocket dimension too.
I like it. I love it. This is the high quality shit you can expect from this podcast.
Man, okay, we need to do a battle where I have Kirby and you have Freddy on your army. I need this happening.
I don't want that little pink bastard floating around all over the place.
He's fucking terrifying. When you really break him down, he's a horror show, man. I love it.
I'll just hit him with a Dread Knight Nemesis Damon Hammer and fucking rocket him off the board.
Just home run him off the table.
Do like 30 wounds and launch him 30 inches back. Home run!
Yeah, because I feel like for like the case of like wounding him, for all of that, you just consider him to be like strength 1, toughness 1.
Right.
At least base. Now, if he swallows a Space Marine, then he could become, one of the things I could do would be like, oh, well, now Kirby's strength 4. And then he's got enough physical strength at that point to rip a guardsman in half if he wanted.
Right, yeah.
I like this.
It's stuff like this where I like to have... This is where I thrive in this game, is these fucking absurdist fever dreams of what the game could be.
I just like trying to logically break down different pop culture
Yeah,
characters.
and thinking what like translates and what works and what would not work and what would be overpowered. It's fun
Yeah.
to dissect things like that. And
Yeah.
I would be interested to see, like, again, as we start to apparently gain traction in our podcast, I'd love to hear people send us emails and give us like rules attached to, again, some other universe that you're bringing into the 40K and how it would work.
Yeah, let us know.
That'd be fun. I like that idea. Like,
If
again,
you guys got
this is
ideas
fun.
out there for characters or
Units,
playing
rules.
like an environment.
I want somebody to give me an idea for Sonic. I have not. I was thinking about Sonic and how he could like translate over, but I have fucking nothing. I got nothing on him. But
So I didn't do Sonic, but I did do Super Mario.
okay, I want to hear Mario before Mario will be our coup de grace here.
Oh wait, no. What about Leatherface?
Oh shit, we forgot a lot of Leatherface too.
We've already done some all the other horror icons. Let's just finish out those with Leatherface real quick.
All right, Leatherface. So I think it was pretty similar to what you had, but I called it new skin. So every model he kills in close combat, you roll a d6. On a 5+, he recovers 1 wound. He's just taking that skin and adding it to his mask.
I feel like that should also have an aura of lowering the leadership of enemies.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, for sure, dude. That'd be fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Man, imagine this. Like, you're in a universe where you've got chain axes and chain swords and fucking armor and las guns and melta guns, and there's this dude wearing the skin of your fucking former sergeant as a mask, and he's just wielding a regular gas-powered chainsaw
And a mallet.
and a mallet. Like,
Brain him in the head. So that little story that you just kind of brought up about him wearing the skin of your comrades,
Yeah.
that happens in 40K. Like, that is in the Dark Eldar. There's
I
a
was gonna
short
say, I know
story.
Necrons have their flayed ones that fucking.
They have flayed ones, but in 40K, there's a short story in the last Dark Eldar Codex in 5th edition, I believe it was. They talk about the Tyranid were attacking the Tau, I believe it was, and the Tau were like putting out distress calls. They were in some deep shit. Well, Urian Rakarth, the head homunculus of the Dark Eldar, intercepts it, and he basically comes down and he's like, me and my warriors would love to help you in exchange, and they're like, what are your demands? Like, please help us, but like, what do you want? And he's like, simply just a cultural exchange is all we would just wish to learn more about you and your kin, and I think
Never
this
a
could
good
be
sign.
yeah, this would be mutually beneficial. So they're like, oh, okay, just help us. So Dark Eldar come down and they start like helping them turn the tide against the Tyranid, and they're like, what can we do to, what's your payment? He's like, he basically requested like X amount of specimens of each cast of Tau. So you have like the earth, fire, water, and wind casts, but then he also wanted like 5 ethereals, which, if you know anything about the Tau, those are their leadership cast, and they were like, fuck no, we're not giving you ethereals at all.
Yeah, because they're a very like small sect, aren't they? Like, if I remember correctly, ethereals aren't like.
Yeah, but they also,
They're like the billionaire class of America. There's very few of them, and they control all the other castes.
Well, that's like they even I've read stuff, and I don't read a lot about like the Tau in their lore, but there is something I've read stuff where it's hinted that like the ethereals may even have some form of like mind control over the other castes. They're very like secretive. So
we call it money here in America.
so asking for ethereals from the Tau is like, you might as well not even do it, because it's not going to happen. So they tell him no. Well, then he demands. He's like, well, then I want like 300 regular Tau or something like that. So like they end up like loading them up into like mantas, like giant Tau ships, and they're like, okay, you guys are off to in this cultural exchange. Here you go through the portal to Kimura, and we hope that you spread the greater good. Immediately, they're never seen from again. And during this time, because uh, it's the homunculus covens that are fighting with the Tau. Their bread and butter is grotesques, which are like giant meat golems. And I know that I refer to the space marines as like giant hulking meat behemoths and things like that. But that's literally what I mean. Imagine the Hulk, but if he was like a lobotomized Frankenstein monster of just different body parts and skin, and they're given like bone growing chemicals and muscle growing chemicals. And this is sounding a lot like a space marine still to me, but the Tau specifically mention how they notice that the grotesques go from being like pallid and really really gaunt in appearance and like skin tone to start having more of a bluish, like more and more blue splotches here and there, until towards the end, like then they realize like, oh shit, the people that we gave them, they're sewing together and turning into grotesques. Like by the end they're all like Smurf grotesques, and it's like, oh shit, they're us. So that was my really long segue into that exact scenario has been done in 40K, and it is fantastic. The moment that the Tau realize what has happened and the folly of their ways, and then it's like at that point they try to fight the Dark Eldar, or the Dark Eldar are just like, nope. And for not giving Urian what he demanded, he ends up claiming the entire planet. And so by the time other Tau sects come to support the planet, the entire place is barren.
Jesus.
That's why I love the Dark Eldar. So I have a,
so many bad things happened that you probably don't even know about that story left out.
Oh God.
Bad things.
How many orifices do you have? Don't answer it. It'll be more fun just finding out the hard way. So I had a rule for Leatherface called impromptu rations. So every time Leatherface kills an enemy model, he can heal one wound to his unit, or maybe D3 wounds to the unit that's hit near him. However, the friendly unit that he heals that way needs to take a leadership test, or actually not even a leadership test. It would be a combat attrition test.
Okay.
Yes. Because you just got fed people.
And somebody's going to figure it out and be like, I'm out of here.
But there's always that one guy that's like, it's better than the grub they give us back at the mess camp.
Imagine this ties back into last week's episode. What about when you're a Space Marine player and you got Leatherface and he does the impromptu rations, and then that whole entire unit just starts freaking the fuck out because they just ate a bunch of fucking people and they got all those memories and they just
combat attrition test.
Oh my God. Oh, that's never gonna not be funny to me, man. That is one of those things that just Soylent Green would never work in the 40K universe with Space Marines. So
no, it wouldn't. Imagine a Space Marine eating a chicken McNugget. And just that fucking horror show.
The horror of war has nothing on what happened to that chicken.
Oh man.
All right. Oh, we are about at an hour, so I think this is a good episode. I like this idea.
Yeah.
Ask40k@gmail.com. Send us your fucking ideas, or what you'd like to, what universe you would mesh in and what rules you'd apply to them. I'd like to hear them.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a model, it could be an environment, like, oh, maybe in this battle we're fighting in the Matrix. What would that be like? I don't know. You tell us.
Boring. If it was anything like the last movie.
That movie was weird. They're literally talking about making that movie and how they didn't want to make that movie.
Right? It's so meta, and they're just like, yeah, I don't care. They phoned that in so hard.
So Are you ready? Are you ready for my Super Mario?
Yeah, I'm ready for the Super Mario. Let's hear our coup de grace here.
Okay. So right off the bat, Mario can teleport. I call it warp pipe. It's
course.
bullshit. It's broken.
I love it.
Just
Perfect for
but
Mario.
that is Mario. So that leads me into his next ability, which I would see these two being chained quite often. Mario warp pipes onto a elevated platform of some kind, which gives him a perfect opportunity to use his main attack ability, Elevated Assault. This motherfucker is going to try to jump on your leader's head, snap their neck. That is his main go-to. So I'm thinking Elevated Assault, this thing is going to do maybe like 2d6 mortal wounds, because in Mario, at most, something only takes like 2 or 3 jumps on the head and then it's fucking dead. So
Right, that's true.
this is a devastating attack. You do not want him to jump on your unit's heads. And because it's Mario, he can target a HQ model that's in a squad. He is a velociraptor on drugs.
Oh.
And then he is also a psyker. He knows pyrokinesis because for some reason he's able to shoot fireballs.
Yep. All right. I'm down with it.
But the way that this would work is there are going to be markers placed all over the board. I'm thinking a bunch of them, like maybe 20, and those count as question mark blocks. So those could give Mario, it could give him a mushroom, which basically gives him however many wounds he has. He now regains like half of his wounds or something like that. It gives him maybe like
a D3
maybe,
wound revival? Like
something, or maybe D6 wounds. I mean,
Okay.
he's got to have a lot.
Yeah, all right.
So that would a mushroom is going to heal him. Flower, that's going to give him his until he takes a wound. He knows a fireball, which I haven't really. I don't really know yet what that would be. I'm thinking some kind of like Doom Bolt or something like that.
Yeah, probably. Maybe even more similar to a Smite, maybe something like that.
Yeah, like a supercharged Smite. I mean, this thing has got to hit like a cannon as well.
Yep.
But the other thing that it could give him would be a star, and while he has that in play, he moves double the movement speed, and any models that he runs through during his movement are removed from play.
Jesus.
Because, as we know,
God tier.
yes, in Mario, when he has a star, he runs faster and everything dies instantly upon touching him. The only exception would be maybe a tank. Maybe he does like 2d6 wounds to it as Mario just runs through the whole of your tank.
What the fuck was that?
Yes. And then his other crazy ability that he would have is called One Up. And this is my favorite. So basically, if you kill Mario, the way that works is you lay him down and then you consult how many lives he currently has left, if any. He starts with 1 life. However, for every 100 points of models that he kills, he gains a 1-up. What would happen is if you kill Mario and he has at least 1 life remaining, then on the following turn, he stands right back up with full wounds. And one of the items that you could get out of a coin block, or out of a question block, might be a coin, or it might be like D6 coins, because sometimes those question mark blocks would just give you a couple coins. Each coin counts as 10 kills for the sake of Mario having extra lives.
Oh man, you have made Mario a god in the game.
Kirby and Mario were my favorites. I started doing Dig Dug, but then Dig Dug grossed me out when I started thinking about the fact that he inflates things. And that just led me down a weird mental rabbit hole. And I was like, nope,
Not
we're
going
done.
down there.
I ain't doing it. Because then it got into inflation and weird stuff. And if you type in like Dig Dug inflation, you get weird stuff. Don't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't even like talking about it.
So since we're on the subject of Mario, and we're coming to the close of the episode, I do have a question for you, Drew. Did you know that, Mario, he's Japanese, right? But did you know what his first name is?
Super?
No, it's not super. It's Sumi. It's me, Mario.
Goddamn. Okay.